Coming up today on the Nice Guys on Business.
Because here's the difference between like features, benefits, and value. If you sell value, you will always make money. Here's what I mean. If you're like today, let's say that you don't want to buy a camera. You have no interest in buying a camera. There's nothing that you need a camera for. There's no way it's going to benefit you. You've got all the cameras. But I'm like, hey, I got this iPhone with a camera, this iPhone 7 for $50. You know, the retail value of this phone is $700. And you know that you could easily sell it for $400. You'd be like, dude, I wasn't in the market for a phone or a camera today, but for $50, that's a good value.
Fuck you. That's my name. You know why, mister? Because you drove a Hyundai to get here tonight. I drove an $80,000 BMW. The Nice Guys on Business. That's my name. AIDA. Attention, interest, decision, action. Attention. Do I have your attention? Interest. Are you interested? I know you are, because it's fuck or walk. You close or you hit the bricks. Decision. Have you made your decision for Christ? And action. Listen to the Nice Guys on Business. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
FunkNfans, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back. It is Ryan fucking Stewman today. My name is Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler. Doug, we have been building up to this for a long time now.
I don't know if his middle name is officially fucking. I don't know if that is what his middle name is. He definitely has a way. He's got a style. Ryan, I may not necessarily agree with his style, but dude, it must be working. It works for him. Let's
put it this way. Yeah. He's not the kind of guy that's going to be offended by me introducing him as Ryan fucking Stewman, right?
No, I don't think so. I think he's a family guy. I mean, I think that there's certain people in his family that might not appreciate you adding the F-bomb to his middle name. But, you know, it goes along with, I think, the persona or what do you call it? You wouldn't be the persona that you personify.
Yeah.
The persona that you personify.
The persona that's his persona. And you know what?
He's a badass.
Right. His newest book is called Elevator to the Top: Everything You Need to Know About Sales, which you can get for free if you're a Nice Guy listener. We're going to put a link in. But his previous book is called Kick Ass and Take Names.
Yeah, so you're right. I don't
kick ass, take names, emails, and phone numbers. So I don't think he'll be offended.
No, I don't think so. Well, just so you know, Nice Guy community, Ryan and I get into a pretty good conversation going, and then, you know, I give him an opportunity to share what he does, and I'm now going back quite a distance in time, so it gets a little fuzzy, so you'll be able to pick up what the conversation is all about, but you can sense in fairly quick order that when he gets into his stride, I totally feel like he is selling to our community. I got a little defensive.
You jumped on him, didn't you?
Probably said some words that I should not have said. And
you yelled at him.
And I've since communicated with Ryan because he's on our email list. And every time I send him an email, he generally sends back another email. And he's very congratulatory, very, hey, nice going. I remember sending him something about the 400th episode and the 600,000th download and all that stuff. The dude is a legit guy. I just think that he is totally passionate and into his style of selling. And that's just not it's the way that he sells, it's just not comfortable for me. You and I were just talking, Strick, about what were we talking about?
We were talking about like used car sales, right? So like CarMax comes in and they purport that they are changing the way used cars are sold, right? They're like, there's no negotiating. The prices are locked in and you don't have to worry about it. We're never going to haggle with you. We're not going to fight with you over price.
Right.
It's all good. And they act like, hey, this is the best thing to happen since sliced bread. Because come on, who says, hey, used car salesman in a good way, right? I mean, nobody says that. But the reality is that CarMax is typically not the cheapest guy. Like if you go compare, obviously with used cars, it's hard to compare apples to apples. But if you do a comparable used car to other places, it's typically cheaper. So, you know, that's kind of the way they talk. But is it really nice to charge a considerably higher price? It's all in what you want. And I really don't think there's anything right or wrong. Ryan, his description of himself, hardcore closer, and that's actually his website, hardcorecloser.com. Man, It's perfect. Right, wrong, or indifferent. It is all good. And this is what I love about the Nice Guys is that, sure, we have our style, but we love to hear opposing viewpoints because Ryan is clearly a completely different style from us. But man, he's successful. So I'm not saying he's wrong. He's just different.
No. I guess I probably leaned into him a little bit harder, being defensive about protecting our community. But you know what? It's like, okay, well, he's not reaching through the airwaves to make people pay money for the stuff. I just thought, it's just a little bit hardcore for me. But that's the name of his company. It's called the Hardcore Closer.
Well, the other thing, Doug, we get guests every once in a while who are all about like the script and their product. And I'm not going to name any names,
right.
but you had a pretty big name on recently. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he or she was really, you could tell it was just scripted and they were just pushing their own thing.
Yes.
You know what? That's boring too. I mean, Ryan, at least you guys get into it. Like he defends himself and
does.
That's cool. That's way more interesting than let me just hear the script of what you have to sell. So it's all good.
I think what I liked I liked the conversation, the communication, and exactly how we related to each other. We respectfully agreed to disagree with each other's style, or no, he didn't disagree with my style because I didn't share my style, but he could tell very quickly from how I responded that this wasn't the way that I do things, and I felt a little bit like it was a little bit oogie, for me.
Yeah.
Before we get to the interview with Ryan Stewman, just a couple of things real quick. If you are involved in our Funkin' Bingo game, the Nice Guy Bingo game.
Oh, God, nobody's won.
Nobody has won the game yet, which it means to me that maybe the next game that we play, we gotta lighten the load a little bit. We gotta make it slightly easier. Maybe somehow.
So the first game that was just a straight line, somebody won in literally 3 hours.
Yep.
So this game, which is an H game, it's been a week and a half. You can go all the way back to episode 395 to try to fill in your bingo square. If you don't have the bingo yet, what's the number?
All they need to do is text the word Nice Guys, no spaces, Nice Guys, to 31996. That is our text to join. Not only will you be texting to join that, but you'll be added to our mailing list, and we will we'll make sure we update you with all sorts of fun information, like when we hit milestones like 600,000 downloads that we just went over last month.
That's crazy shit.
Very cool.
Crazy.
And let's see. So that's that. And patreon.com/NiceGuys. If you want to contribute and become one of our Patreons, that would be great. Do that. As little as $1 a month will get you there. And of course, we want to remind you, if you're listening on Overcast, which we know over 80% are listening on Overcast, just hit the little recommend button. Strickland, we are moving up the scale. We are still number one, which is crazy. Thank you, Tim, for moving aside. We are still number one in the business category, but now we're moving up in the overall category. We're about number 8 or 9 right now, depending on what day of the week we are looking. So how cool would that be to be number one in the business category and number one overall? So we need your help. Just hit the little
podcast that could.
It is very fun to watch us climb the scale.
Anyway, can we get to the interview with
Ryan?
Yeah,
let's get to the interview. This is the C-Suite Radio Network. This is the Nice Guys on Business podcast. We're proud to be affiliated with the C-Suite Radio Network and the Greatness Podcast Network. Let's get to our interview right here with Ryan Stewman. Leads, and more fucking leads than you can possibly imagine. If you are in sales, this is the episode for you, guys and girls. Our guest today, Ryan Stewman, is from Hardcore Closer, and he is an expert at sales, lead generation, and turning shitty business development into a profitable venture. A fellow podcaster and host of the Hardcore Closer podcast. Welcome, Ryan, to the Nice Guys on Business podcast.
I'm excited to be here, Doug. I appreciate that. You turn shitty businesses into ones that are profitable. I like that. I'm going to use that. That's going to be my line from now. It's like, what do you do, man? Well, I turn shitty businesses into profitable ones.
Okay, well, that's good. I think it's a good tagline. I'm not sure that you're going to work. I hear you do a lot of work with Jesus Christ and the Latter-day Saints. I'm not sure it's going to work for you there, though, will it?
Hey, dude, those people are Mormons are stone cold closers, man. They are stone cold closers.
I know, and if one more fucking knocks on my door, I'm just going to shut the door in their face. I'm sorry. They started dressing. Geez, we got off track and we haven't even started yet. They started, when the guys that were Jesus peddlers come into my door, and nothing wrong with Jesus peddlers. I'm a Jewish guy, but I will accept and I will hear from anybody. Believe me, if they have a great message, I'm listening. But they went from dressing in the suits and ties to dressing in like work clothes. So I thought last time that somebody came up, peddling Jesus, came up to my door, I thought they wanted to clean my gutters, and I was all about that. But they didn't close the deal either for the gutters or for Jesus, so I had to let them go. So, yeah, you still sure you want to go through with this episode, Ryan? Because, we can stop now if you want to.
You should have just handed them a broom and put them straight to work. You know
Hell
what I mean?
yeah, man.
Like, hey, well, you know what? Listen, you can tell me about whatever you want to tell me when we get on the roof.
I love it.
I walked them through the process and got free labor out of them.
Hey, Ryan,
the Lord has called you to serve.
That's right. Hey, can we start with my gutters, though? I want to kick off right here with a subject that is near and dear to me. Because basically, Ryan, you don't know me because you probably have not been hanging around the Nice Guys community very long, but I'm basically a fucking wimp, okay? Will your program work for me? Because for the wimpy side, it's got to work, right?
You know, what I've done is, yes, it will work, the short answer. And really what I've done is our process is about 1% sales in reality and 99% marketing and generating leads. I believe most people are good salespeople, but we spend a lot of our time talking to people who don't want to buy our shit, wasting our time. And that's where we get caught up. And then people get this like false appearance that they're not a good salesman, when meanwhile they were just calling random people from the phone book that had no interest in buying a timeshare or whatever it is that they're selling. And I believe that if you can get the right customer in front of somebody who's passionate about selling something, you can sell anything. So, whatever it is that you sell, you just need more people that are interested in it, not necessarily to increase your sales ability. But we have a process called Catch. And basically, it's a 5-step process, because what internet marketing, guru doesn't have a 5-step or 7-step process.
Exactly.
I got to get in on the train here, if I'm going to keep up with the Joneses.
Right.
And in this 5-step process, it really allows you to just make sales autonomously without having to talk much. Because I have this saying, like, he who talks the least makes the most.
Yeah.
So if you're in a sales conversation and you get the other person and they use the most words and they talk the most, they're most likely going to buy from you, because these days nobody's listening. Right? Like, everybody's just thinking about the next word that they can get in. And when you get them talking and they feel like you're listening to them, hell, they want to buy from you, because you're the first person to probably do that in forever.
Ryan has a show called The Hardcore Closer, as I mentioned in the introduction, Nice Guy community. And FunkNfans, if you have not had a chance to listen to his podcast, definitely very, very cool. I mean, you totally sound like a badass. And when you sent me the little Q&A that you filled out before the show, you sent me this picture. You look like a, what is it, MMA, mixed martial arts, kind of guy. You got the tats and you got the hair and you got the whole thing going. And your show, I definitely get the feeling when I listen to your show that it's screaming at me, don't fuck with me. Not from a bad perspective, but like, hey, I'm a guy that's confident that I know what I'm doing. On the other side of it, though, I'm the guy usually with the Cosmo in my hand, and you seem to be the whiskey straight up kind of guy. So I guess I have to say, help me. I think there are more of me than there are of you. And I mean, no offense to you that way, but like, how does this kind of thing work? Can it work for really anybody? I want to get back to that original question. Can it work for anybody, even a guy that doesn't have necessarily the level of confidence that in 5 seconds of hearing you, I feel like, dude, this got so much, he's got confidence up the wazoo.
Well, I have the confidence because I've done the experiments to gain the experience and have the expertise, right? So when I talk about something, especially sales, I feel like I'm the expert, and I've been doing this for a long time. But I'll say there's a good group of people. Maybe I won't say most. I shouldn't have said that, but probably 20% of our people are folks that are not necessarily shy. They've just not had a whole lot of luck at sales, and they're kind of socially awkward, and they don't like cold calling people, and they don't like networking. And you're in the internet marketing world, so there's a whole realm of rich internet marketers that are socially awkward. I just went to Frank Kern's house last November and spent 2 days with him, and he's like really socially awkward. About 6 to 8 people is about all he can handle at one time, because he starts to get nervous and stuff like that. But yet the guy's made tens of millions of dollars online, and continues to do so every year. So the internet's changed a lot of that for people that might be socially awkward like you, or maybe a little bit nervous. The Facebook chat messages that we teach, and the sending out emails and stuff like that you learn, and setting up funnels, allows it to be like this iron curtain in between the you and the prospect that allows you to be a little bit more confident. And you and I both know that once you start gaining a little bit of confidence, it's like earning interest, right? Like you get a little bit, and then it compounds, and you get a little bit more, and the next thing you know, you're talking like how I am. I'm confident, but it didn't always come this way. I haven't always like been this like super confident person. It's just something that, and I have my low points still. I'm human, you know, but I've just over the years, I've done the experiments, like I said, to gain the expertise. But my best subject, client, whatever you want to call it, and she's not even a client. Her husband was a client of mine. And then he begged me to give her a job. Her name's Roxanne Hoover. She works for me. She's still one of our salespeople.
Yeah.
But about 2 years ago, her husband was a client of mine. And then I said that I was looking for salespeople. And he's like, look, my wife's not really a salesperson, but, you know, she needs a job. Maybe she can help you out, like your assistant Lindsay or something like that. And I was like, if I can take Roxanne, who's like just a work from home mom, right? Just like stays at home, takes care of the kids, does all that stuff, and helps him with his business. If I can take her and make her like truly a hardcore closer, then like I can really get that confidence to say that this stuff will work for anybody. Well, last year she made over $250,000 working for me.
Wow. That's awesome. And I heard a couple of things in there. One, the first thing that you'd said, which really I've never really put a lot of thought into, but is the reality of where most people are when they're in sales, is that it's not that you're not a good communicator. It's that your leads fucking suck. You know, it's like you're talking to the wrong person, and you feel like that level of confidence goes down because you're not dealing with the right leads. The second thing that I heard, which very interesting, I believe somewhere in there you did call me socially awkward. I'm pretty sure. You know what? I haven't said fuck you to any of my guests that have ever been on the show so far. But let's just start there. Damn it. I don't want you to point that fault out to me. I am a little socially awkward, and that's why I spend most of my days in my pajamas on the internet doing these podcast things, because this for me has been the ultimate lead generator in terms of just getting people to hear and talk about my brand.
Exactly. You're making sales from this podcast. This is the iron curtain for you that I discussed, and I didn't mean to call you. I was just twisting your words around, but this is like literally the iron curtain for you, to where you can stay home and work from home and then make money from sales, and you're getting brand recognition and people reaching out to you from your podcast here.
Yeah, awesome. And I'm just messing with you, and I know because you could probably. Where are you? Where in the world are you? What state are you in?
I'm in Dallas, Texas. But hey, man, I'm in sales. I got thick skin. That's why I got all these tattoos. You know,
I know.
The reason why my tattoos are solid, most people have shaded tattoos. The reason mine are solid is because my skin keeps pushing the ink back out. I've got tattoos that like my skin it's thick, dude. I'm just used to it, I guess.
All right. I want to move on to a subject again, near and dear to me, because I've heard this mentioned so many times before, and I want your spin on this. I want to talk about value of products versus services. So I want to talk value versus products and services. So value equals one thing, but products and services equal another. Share with our Nice Guy community what it is that value means to you, because I think everybody usually talks features and benefits. So what do you mean by when you hear the word value?
You know, that is something very, I'm pulling up my notes here. So that is something very...
Wait a minute. You had to go to the chalkboard for this one?
No, you know, I had just, I just did a podcast on this the other day. It hasn't even been published yet. But I'm really passionate about this, because here's the difference between like features, benefits, and value. If you sell value, you will always make money. Here's what I mean. So if you're like today, let's say that you don't want to buy a camera, like you have no interest in buying a camera. There's nothing that you need a camera for. There's no way it's going to benefit you. You've got all the cameras, but I'm like, hey, I got this iPhone with a camera, this iPhone 7 for $50. You know, the retail value of this phone is $700, and you know that you could easily sell it for $400. You'd be like, dude, I wasn't in the market for a phone or a camera today, but for $50, that's a good value. Right. And so that's what you have to focus on as a salesperson, is show them that that's the good value. For example, we have a program that it's $2,500 a year, but the way that we do what I call the stack, the way that we sell it, is that it's $36,500 in true value. Like, we compare it to other programs and everything else, to where we show them the real value. Like, dude, you're basically stealing $34,000 for a year to be a part of this program. You're stealing $34,000.
All right, hold on. But I want to give you some pushback for a second. Are you okay with having a friendly debate here for a second?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. And I'm not hitting you out of left field, and I like you, and I like your show, and I really do. I admire what you stand for. But can I just tell you something for just a second? I felt like a used car salesman was talking to me. So how do you, I don't want to get a guest on here and ever insult anybody, and I'm not insulting you. I think that what my community wants is they hear something and they're like, oh man, I don't know if I feel that. So talk to me about that for a second, because I don't want to feel that way when somebody chats with me. So how do I have that conversation with somebody and really feel like there is value? Okay, it's cost you $2,500. The value is $38,000. So that means I feel like somebody's stealing $36,000 from me. How does that work in your world?
Well, in my world, just for the record, it's mostly salespeople, so they kind of get a kick out of that.
Yeah, I get
I'm
that.
With you. And because of the hardcore closer moniker, so you'll have to forgive me for being a little abrasive in the nice guy community here.
Dude,
that's kind of a fun thing for salespeople.
I'm pushing back honestly for you, so that you can feel what I'm thinking that a customer is going to think. Although we do have a lot of people that are out here that are in the sales game. We are all in the sales game. We're all selling our fucking ideas every day. We just have to figure it out. So, but I guess I'm looking at it and saying, okay, well, sell that to me. Sell me that value idea, that value proposition that you're offering to me that says that my stuff is actually legitimately has a value of much higher than what we're actually selling this thing for.
Absolutely. I got you. Well, you know what? I've gotten this resistance before. And this is why I have the comparable. So here's the thing. Just hear me out, and I'll get you to where this all makes sense for you. So,
all right, go.
So what the Break Free Academy Entourage program, which is what I'm selling here for $2,500 for an entire year, here's what it entails. There's 12 newsletters. Now, I handwrite these newsletters. You can't find them anywhere else. And if you were to subscribe to Frank Kern's newsletter, just his newsletter is $397 a month. Porter Stansberry's runs somewhere around $850 a month. Then you've got guys like Ben Settle who have a newsletter-only business that charge $99 a month. None of those are as detailed as mine because I'm a member in all of them. So let's just say that with Frank's program, you're paying $8,000 a year. Let's just say that I'm worth half of what Frank is, and we'll assign a $4,000 value to the 12 newsletters we send out every month, the exclusive newsletters. Next thing is we also send out with the newsletter every month 12 cool gifts. So each month you'll get a cool gift like a T-shirt. We have poker chips that say fuck your excuses on them so you can give them to when people are crying and shit like that. Yeah. So we'll just say that costs us around $500, like true cost. We're not even profiting or anything, just the cost to send it out to you. Then we also do 26 night schools, right? So that's every other week throughout the entire year, and that's coaching. So you're going to get on a live webinar. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to train you. Most of the coaching programs out there where they do things twice a month with you run somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000 per month. But let's just say that all of those are better than mine, and my program is only $6,000 for the entire year. Okay, so we've got the newsletters, the gifts, and the night schools. Then we also have a mastermind. Now, I belong to a few different masterminds, and most of them are $25,000 to $50,000 for an entire year's access. They include a few meetups and some other stuff. Our mastermind includes that plus more. And let's just say that mine, again, the value is less than the rest of them at $10,000 a year. Then we also give you a year access to our online training program called Break Free Academy Digital. It's got a bunch of modules, all of our live events recorded, all the training, how to build funnels, everything you need. We sell that product right now all day, every day. We sold 790 of them last year alone for $2,000. That's part of this for a year as well. Then you get access to my team. I have people that I have trained to make funnels, write copy, help you with emails, tweak your offers, everything you need. And if you were to hire out all those people, it would probably cost you $5,000 a month to have these experts at your disposal because you belong to this program. But let's just say that it costs $5,000 a year to hire these top experts, and that's the value that I assign for this for the year as well. Then we're going to do 52 different marketing autopsies throughout the entire year. So what we're going to do is if your funnel doesn't work, we're going to take it, we're going to look at it, we're going to record it, we're going to rebuild it like Frankenstein, put it back together, help you get more leads from it, and then we're going to share it with everybody that's in the mastermind so they can see what you did wrong, what we did right, and then we have a library of examples that people can level up their funnel autopsies. Let's just say that the value of that would be somewhere around $6,000 to have my man Pat, the guy that's built all my $1 million funnels, every single week look at a different person's funnel and dissect it. And then we're going to give you a live ticket to our live event, which is $3,000. Is the value of the live event because it's going to be in the VIP section. And you'll be able to come back in the green room and smoke weed with us and do all that good stuff if that's what you're into. And you get to meet us at the breakfast and the dinners that we do for the event as well, which if you add all of that together, it's $36,500 in true comparable value to other people's programs out there.
Right.
We do it on a mass level for $2,500. One payment gets you through an entire 12 months.
Dude, listen, if it was nothing more than just going back into the green room and smoking weed with you, that's worth the $2,500 right there alone.
Dude, I just met 30 of my clients for breakfast up here at the, like people flew in from Philadelphia, Chicago, DC, New York. And I met them at the diner up the street from where I live here. We do that once a month with the people in this program, and dude, the parking lot, man, there are like 10 people out there smoking weed in the parking lot waiting on everybody to show up.
So the upside of this, and from what I'm hearing, and I listened to all of the things, and I listed the bunch of things, and I said, okay, well that makes sense. That adds value. And again, part of it is how I'm going to view it. But stuff like the training that you do, the night school that you do, and the mastermind group alone throughout the entire year are worth more than the $2,500. So for me, I could have said, okay, I like night school, I like the mastermind group, I like the live access to training, and you throw in stuff like the funnels, the live event that you put together, and all of the other things, the newsletter and all of that stuff. I mean, that completely makes sense at $2,500. I can't imagine that somebody would not be able to pull $2,500 worth of value from the stuff that you have going on. So hats off. You stayed with the game, and you shared with me, I guess, everything. But let me ask you this question. And my dad always used to talk about this thing called puking product. At some point, how do you figure out what somebody is actually looking for, and without having to go through this litany of here are the 1,700 things that we do? Because all of those things that you do, it's great. Now I feel like maybe there's too much stuff in there for $2,500, and I'm thinking that what is really the value now?
No, that's a very good question as well. And I believe that it probably is too much stuff. And my thoughts are, because I think that your clients are how you are. And so I know when I join a mastermind, then they offer, whatever it is, or if I join a program, they offer whatever it is. I just pick out the parts that I give a damn about.
Right.
Other than that, I'm not going to log into a program and watch video 1 to video 90. I just don't do that.
Yep.
And I would imagine you don't either. We don't have time for it. And most of my clients make over $150,000 a year. So they're somewhat active and busy in their other businesses anyway. So my goal is for them to say, okay, I can catch a night school every now and then, or I can, I really enjoy these newsletters. Because I mean, if you break the price down, it's just a couple dollars over $200 every month. So even that for the newsletter for some people is worth it. But I think the real kicker with our program that once people get logged in is they see the network that I built. I built a network of a bunch of confident, successful entrepreneurs and bankers and real estate agents, and they're all trading deals and doing incestuous like referrals and shit like that. And I think that that's truly the real benefit. But you're right, there is a lot of stuff involved in it. That's because I'm as a sales guy, I can't help but like under promise and over deliver.
No, I get it. I totally get it. Hey, just for a quick second, I want to leave behind the products and services and the features and the benefits and the value of the stuff that you offer. I want to get to you, the person, for a moment, and you as the sales guy. I want to read a couple of quotes to you, and I want to just get your knee-jerk response to these. We don't have to we have a 20-minute conversation on each one of these, but I just want to get your knee-jerk response. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, here we go. The first quote is from a guy named Henry Ford. You may be familiar with him. He says, "Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right."
Obviously from the Think and Grow Rich book, there's a lot of stuff about him and Carnegie. And I think, for a long time, I said that I wanted to be a millionaire, but I didn't really think it was possible. And one day somebody showed me the light. A guy named Kevin Nation showed me the light, showed me the math, and showed me it was a lot easier than I thought it would be. And he basically changed my thinking. And in our land, we have a saying in closer land. We say, when you change your mind, you change your life. And it's true. When you see somebody else explain it to you and make it seem easier than you had, made it difficult in the beginning, the impossible becomes possible.
Oh man, that's right on the money for me. And you hit a home run with that. All right, let me give you another one. This is by a guy named Dave Sandler. You can't teach a kid to ride a bike at a seminar.
I don't guess that I've ever heard that one before, but that I guess what he's saying is, the kid teaching a kid to ride a bike has to be something intimate, and you can't teach that in like a large setting, I'm guessing. But on a side note, as soon as you said teach a kid to ride their bike, the first thing I thought, honestly, was I have a hoverboard, those things that blow up on airplanes or whatever. Well, I have one of those. And I taught both of my kids to ride their bike when I was rolling behind them on the hoverboard, so I didn't ever have to I could keep up with them, in other words. So, dads have to let their kids go because they can't run as fast as a bike, and then the bike falls over. Well, I got this little hoverboard. My little dudes learned to ride without ever falling over.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. And one other, this isn't a quote, but it's more just like your style and your plan of attack and your approach of your day. Because it seems to me, from listening to your show, from having you as a guest on my show, and from hearing the stuff that I hear, you're pretty much balls to the wall on probably in life, not just in sales. I mean, it's very Gary V in style. Is this sustainable? And if so, is this something that you can carry on into your 50s and 60s?
Well, I was just at the doctor this morning, and all my signs are great, and I have a high level of energy. And he said I actually have something called hyperthyroidism, which means that it gives me a lot of energy. And I was like, that's awesome. I'll take it. If that's the disease that I'm diagnosed with, doc, I'm going to take it. And no, I don't want your damn medicine for it, right? I'll take all the energy that I can get. But the truth is, I understand that I'm not going to be able to do this forever, and I may not be as good looking as I am right now, or my voice might not sound as smooth as butter as it does right now. And so I'm actually training 5 of my next proteges and my replacements actually to where I'm using this to build a legacy. Like I've changed thousands of lives in the form of just people that have paid for our stuff, like tens of thousands of people that have bought our products. And now it's time for the next generation. I've got my man, Travis Plum, who's my top producing sales guy. He's over at my house right now in the other room. And I'm grooming him to be the next, hardcore closer.
That's awesome, man. Hey, I really respect and appreciate your level of confidence. And I know that I've given you a bunch of shit while you've been on my podcast here, but I feel like sometimes people probably get a little intimidated. And I don't want you to feel like I'm giving you pushback just for the sake of giving you pushback. I hope you've viewed it as constructive criticism from a guy that's a podcast host like you that wants to do better myself, but just maybe a little insecure myself. And I know you have a lot of clients that are that way as well, correct?
I do. And, I actually want to say, Doug, this is probably my favorite podcast because, anybody can get on here and be like, oh, yeah, that's awesome. Great stuff, Ryan. But to be like, well, let me be the contrary. That really does take balls. Like you're over here saying that that's not your thing, but it really does take balls to be like, anybody can let me or Gary Vee or Cardone or anybody on there that's a over the top person and agree with them. I really like the fact that you challenged me to think a little bit harder. I appreciate that.
Well, when you have the distance that puts between me and Dallas, I think I'm in DC and you're in Dallas. Really hard. You have my address or you can easily look me up and kill me, but I have a feeling like you won't. So I'm okay with this.
It's funny you mentioned the UFC in the beginning. Like I don't watch the sport or anything like that. However, tomorrow, if anybody out there happens to watch the UFC, I will be walking out with 2 different fighters. So that'll be kind of cool.
Rock on, man. That's
some true thing.
Very, very cool. So if our Nice Guy community wanted to get in touch with you to find out more about the stuff that you offer and the huge value of the stuff that you offer too, how can they do that, Ryan?
Just head over to hardcorecloser.com. That is going to be your favorite sales blog ever. Anything you can think of, type it in the search bar. I've probably written about it. There's 1,500 articles over there. You can get access to my books. There's all sorts of free stuff over there. Your people are going to love it. Just head over to hardcorecloser.com.
Hey, awesome. Thanks, Ryan. And Nice Guy community, we'll make sure we put all of Ryan's information, his contact information in the show notes. And I did give him a hard time. And at some point, maybe you could expect for him to give me a hard time again back on his show. If he ever, but he can see, hey, if a wimpy guy can actually close some deals, I got to see what this wimpy guy could do on my show. So, thanks for the invite for the show, Ryan. I'll be happy to be there. No, wait a minute. You didn't invite me. Anyway, Nice Guy community, thanks again. Never underestimate the power of nice. Special thanks to Ryan Stewman for being on the show. Ryan, thank you so much.
Yes, thanks again, Doug.
Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Fill up your week with the Nice Guys. 5 episodes a week. Isn't that like some kind of a war crime? Why don't you just waterboard these poor people?